What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Jon Jones re-enters USADA testing pool. If you thought you finally heard the last about if and who Jon Jones will fight next, because Bones has retired, well, you'd be wrong. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. It's not even been 2 weeks yet since Jones ended all the relentless speculation as to whether he would fight Tom Aspinall by confirming he was hanging up the gloves. The confirmation was in line with what many had been predicting for months would be the case. Bones is done fighting. So what changed? Well, if you missed it, recently American President Donald Trump announced that plans are underway to have the UFC hold a card on the White House grounds in 2026. Clearly, this has piqued the interest of Jones, so much so, he's thinking about fighting again. Via social media, not only did Bones hint that he's interested in fighting on that card, he reported he's re-entered the testing pool. So could we actually see Jon Jones and Aspinall fight after all? It's possible, but a lot has to fall into place before that happens. Not only will it require Jones actually ending his retirement and agree to fight Aspinall, who knows what could transpire between now and then in the cage. Could Aspinall lose? Could he get injured and be ineligible for the White House card? Will the White House card actually happen? What do you think? Could Bones actually return for one more fight? And will he seek out a scrap with Aspinall? Not only did the White House match pique Jon Jones' interest, but as we've been reporting, Conor McGregor is also teasing his comeback fight and seems to be more motivated than ever in recent years to be on this card. He tweeted this morning saying, "My accuracy is my superpower. Most do not know this, but in my right eye, I have 20/10 vision. I am the 1% of humans that has this. In my left, I am 20/20. Accuracy is final. I've most KOs of all by a long shot, and I've been chilling on my yachts the last 4 years. To return at the White House with my sniper accuracy would be a very intriguing offer and would bring me back into focus on my return correctly." Do you think a match in front of the White House will get Conor McGregor and Jon Jones back into the octagon and on the same card? That would be massive if it ever happens. Arman Tsarukyan fires back at Ilia Topuria. Yesterday, we reported a back and forth between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan. It started with Arman going on X and saying, "Fun fact of the day, Ilia Topuria never fought anyone in their prime." Ilia saw those comments and responded to Arman during a press conference in Spain yesterday. To summarize everything, Ilia Topuria basically called out Arman for not fighting Islam and pulling out due to a back injury. Ilia even went as far as to say that he would have never missed that opportunity and would have fought for the belt with one arm. Well, Arman Tsarukyan saw those comments and fired back with another fun fact of the day. He went on X and said, "Another fun fact, Topuria regularly misses weight, so spare us the fairy tale about fighting with one arm. You pulled out from fighting Charles Jourdain, hermanito." Hermanito meaning little brother in Spanish. Arman tweeted that with pictures of Ilia Topuria missing weight for UFC 270 in 2022, missing weight for a championship fight for Cage Warriors, and a random conspiracy theory video on Ilia Topuria supposedly missing weight for UFC 317, but the UFC is covering it up. So yeah. What are your thoughts on this situation? Would you be interested in seeing these two fight? Let us know in the comments below. Robert Whittaker predicts Khamzat versus DDP and talks retirement. Khamzat continues to be the betting line favorite for his upcoming scrap with Dricus du Plessis. But one man who knows what it's like to battle both middleweights, the legendary Robert Whittaker, doesn't agree with those odds. After going 8-0 in the Octagon to date, Chimaev has been tapped to fight the champion at UFC 319 on August 16. Because of his UFC run and because he's destroyed almost every opponent he's faced, Boers is a slight favorite to claim the title. As noted, however, some pundits and fighters have expressed that they see the fight unfolding in favor of DDP. Case in point, Whittaker had this to say when asked by Fox Sports Australia for his prediction. "Honestly, I'd have to say Dricus would be a favorite. He probably is a favorite, but I think I'm leaning towards Dricus. The question, the whole thing can be summed up, Chimaev will take him down. It's will he finish him before he gets back up? That's the million-dollar question, because if he doesn't finish him on the ground, I think he loses." It is an interesting point, and we've heard other fighters make similar predictions. Sean Strickland, for example, made it clear he thinks DDP will hear and still at UFC 319. If Chimaev cannot take DDP out early, like he did with Whittaker, will Boers' undefeated record be in serious jeopardy? What do you think? Whittaker himself is preparing to battle Rainier de Reeder at the UFC's July 26 card in Abu Dhabi. It'll mark the first time that Bobby Knuckles has fought since he was submitted by Chimaev in October. While discussing his future and how much longer he sees himself fighting, Whittaker said this: 4 fights. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. 4. I want 4 more. That's me. I see the stepping stones needed to do what I want to do. 4 fights gets me to that title shot. Gets me into a position to, finish on top, to have that fairy tale ending. Given that Whittaker is only 34, this could mean that the Grim Reaper might retire at 36 or 37, which might seem early to some, but it's important to remember Whittaker's been fighting since 2009, and he's been in a lot of wars. Of course, if he's decisively beaten in one of his next couple of fights, Whittaker could elect to retire early. Do you see Whittaker putting together another title shot run or winning the middleweight crown again? Paddy Pimblett releases Sean Strickland sparring footage. Paddy Pimblett is still in the US after being in attendance at UFC 317, and the baddie recently threw some hands lightly with Sean Strickland. If you saw 317, you know that Pimblett was cage side when his rival Ilia Topuria put away Charles Oliveira to win the lightweight belt. He was also invited into the octagon for a face-off. More recently, the Liverpool Star's YouTube channel shared out the footage below, which captured Pimblett doing some sparring in Vegas with Strickland.
He was laughing at me saying, how do you make 55? He might be anywhere near me weight when I fight, but at the minute it was nice getting around him with him, you know what I mean? As much as people say as well, he goes mad, he doesn't. He was nice and chilled with me there, didn't try and take me head off at all.
Oh bro, he's dope, good guy. Oh, he's a big man, bro. He's a big tough guy.
Of course, if you follow Pimblett's UFC run, you know that the baddie has not been overly concerned about keeping his weight in the 155-pound range in between fights. Far from it. The video highlights this and also explains why Strickland said the following before sparring with Pimblett. "I don't really go with 155s, dude, but I don't know if you count as one." Paddy's weight aside, it remains to be seen who the rising star will fight next. On account of his one-sided stoppage victory over Michael Chandler in April, Pimblett has established himself as a top lightweight contender. Do you think he should get tapped to fight Topuria next, or should he have to record another notable win before he gets a title shot? Leon Edwards calls out Ian Garry next. Leon Edwards has not been booked for his next fight yet, but the former welterweight champion has made it clear that he has Ian Machado Garry in his sights. Edwards last competed this past March, when he was submitted by surging contender Sean Brady. That was the first time he competed since July 2024, when Edwards' reign as the champion came to a close courtesy of the wrestling of Bilal Muhammad. While speaking to Sky Sports recently, the England-based fighter was asked who he wants to fight next, and Edwards called out Garry. That would be a good fight, definitely. That's the fight I've mentioned to the UFC. I think that would be a great fight to get back in there, so hopefully we can get that one done this year. On paper, there's a lot to love about the fight, since both men are excellent strikers and there would be a lot riding on the outcome. But given that Edwards has lost 2 straight and Garry is coming off a win over Carlos Prates, it'd be kind of surprising if Garry was on board with this, even though Edwards is currently ranked number 4 and Garry is number 6. Garry's been calling for a fight with Bilal Muhammad as a means to secure a title shot. But do you think that a scrap between Edwards and Garry could materialize? And who do you see winning it? Ilia Topuria says he would beat Prime Conor McGregor. Now that Ilia Topuria has added the UFC's lightweight title to his trophy case, comparisons about him and Conor McGregor have never been more frequent. But if the two fought, who would have won if they squared off when McGregor was still in his prime? Well, according to El Matador, there's no question that he would have taken out the controversial star when he was sitting atop the UFC. Topuria was recently asked this question: who would win in a showdown between him and McGregor if they fought when the latter's powers were at their peak? Topuria said this: "Without a doubt, I'd beat McGregor. The sport evolves every year. It's constantly evolving. It's like comparing a football star from the 80s or 90s to today's game. Would they shine? Maybe. But I think there are better players now." It's worth noting that he's approximately 8 years younger than the 36-year-old McGregor, so a lot has changed in terms of training and knowledge since the notorious one was a UFC champion. But do you agree with Topuria? Do you think he would have beaten a prime McGregor? Of course, here in 2025, the chances of Topuria and McGregor fighting seem slim to none, as McGregor has not fought since 2021 and he continues to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. But there does seem to be some heat between the two. Case in point, during a dual bit stream last fall, McGregor issued this warning to Topuria: "I'd grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap the little nose off him. Yeah, little ding dong of a nose he is. I'm in Marbella, bro, at the bare knuckle. You little fool, I'll cave your head in. You little short tick, I'll box your jaw in, on sight." What if Topuria and McGregor were somehow booked to fight in 2026? Who do you see winning that fight? One man who faced McGregor in his prime was Eddie Alvarez, as McGregor's booming punches ended his reign as the UFC's lightweight champion in 2016. During a recent interview with MMA Junkie, Alvarez heaped praise on Topuria and what the star has accomplished already in his career. How hard is it just to beat those 3 guys in a row? Let's say he got 3 decisions against those guys. That would go down as, damn, you beat 3 of the best guys in the world consecutively. To put them away? To eliminate them? A flawless victory like that? Each of them special. It's not yet known who Topuria will fight next, but at a recent press conference in Spain, Topuria proposed that the UFC book him to fight Paddy Pimblett and Islam Makhachev on the same night. Absolutely, for me, yes. If it were up to me, next Saturday we'd have UFC Spain against Makhachev in the first round and against Paddy in the second. That is quite the statement. Who do you want Topuria to fight next? Israel Adesanya turned down huge roles for UFC career. Israel Adesanya remains one of the biggest names in all of combat sports, but as it turns out, during his reign as the middleweight champion, the last stylebender turned down some massive opportunities to entrench himself as a household name. Although Adesanya is coming off 3 straight losses, it wasn't that long ago when the New Zealand-based fighter was ruling the middleweight division. In fact, in April 2023, the star recorded his greatest victory ever when he finally avenged his losses to Alex Pereira via jaw-dropping knockout. As it turns out, before Adesanya's first reign as a champ was ended by Pereira, in November 2022, he turned down multiple movie roles to focus on his career. Adesanya revealed this in a recent video on his YouTube channel.
While I'm fighting, if I decide to take, I don't know, 3 months to go film a film, yeah, my up, man. So I just wanted to, while I was especially on top, you know, champion, defending my belt, I was like, nah, I want to do that. So I had the opportunity for Black Panther 2. Damn! So Creed 2 as well, that was another one that he directed.
And he wanted you in?
Yeah, and then I turned it down. But it's not because I didn't want to do it. I just knew I had to focus on the task at hand.
That just shows how dedicated Adesanya was to establishing himself as an all-time great and defeating Pereira, which ultimately he was able to do. Fast forward to today, and it's still not known who Adesanya will fight next. The 35-year-old has been driving for a rematch with Strickland, but while talking to the media recently during the UFC's International Fight Week, he revealed that that's not going to happen. I want to, but he's busy at the moment with other stuff, so that's him. But we'll see. I'll pick a fight this weekend. Who do you want to see Adesanya fight next? Former UFC fighter arrested and charged. Longtime MMA fans likely remember tough Brazil vet Godofredo Pepe. After losing in the finale to Rony Jason, Pepe went on to compete in the UFC for several years, until his release in 2018 amid a 2-fight skid. Now, according to MMA Fighting, Pepe has been arrested in Florida on a slew of serious charges. According to the outlet, Pepe could wind up getting deported over the whole situation. His wife, who was the victim in this case, posted a lengthy message on social media in which she urged others to help shed light on women within the combat sports community who have been victims. Today, I'm getting myself back up, and I'm incredibly thankful for having survived to be able to now make the difference in other women's lives. The next generations depend on our decisions now. This is not a problem to be treated. It needs to be abolished. I'm thankful to the fight community and for the support or organizations led by Rose Gracie, who takes it seriously and supports those who think there's no way out. So far, no word yet on when Pepe will be back in court. We have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on MMA Zone by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day.